Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to All About Sports. The landscape of quarterbacks in the NFL has shifted in the past 4 years alone. With the arrival of Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, and Carson Wentz, the new have already begun the process of supplanting the old. No longer is Tom Brady the best quarterback in football, and no longer is Matt Ryan a top 10 quarterback. I'm your host, Luca, and joining me today is Just Talking About Sports and Matt Posner and Ethan Polak. How you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Doing great.
Excellent. Okay, Matt, let's start with you. Do you agree with CBS Sports quarterback rankings for next season?
Well, I'm going to start with saying no. I think we're all going to say no. I think that.
All right, so let me tell you this.
Yeah,
let me start with you. So number 10 is Ben Roethlisberger on CBS Sports. Do you agree with number 10?
No.
And why?
The reason I say that is because I think Big Ben right now is in a situation where he's gotten so much older, and I don't see him being a top 10 quarterback anymore. He injury concerns with his arms, his shoulders, etc. And not only that, it's a new era in Pittsburgh. It's not his. It really doesn't feel like his team anymore. When the other two members of the Killer Bees left, it felt like he was gone too. They need to move on. The Steelers need to move on. It's that time for Big Ben. He's not the force he once was. He is immobile. There's a lot of things that I could say here. I do not see Big Ben as a top 10 quarterback. Just period. I don't see it.
Ethan.
Ben Roethlisberger being ranked top 10 in the freaking NFL. I mean, that's just baffling. I think that people put that in for just attention seeking. Ben Roethlisberger is obviously not the greatest quarterback because he's, as Matt said, he is literally probably the most immobile quarterback in the league. He is extremely slow. He cannot really escape the pocket as well as he used to be able to. And the man looks like he's 40 to 50 years old with that beard that he had when he was trying to get his thing. So if he's able to get his arm back, great. But I mean, last season he survived 1 week and people forgot he even started at the start of the year because he was only in the start of the season during week 1. But for me, Ben Roethlisberger is at least 15 or 20 in there. He does not deserve to be top 20 or top 10.
That's a duck, and that's actually kind of funny that we're talking about Steelers quarterbacks and a duck goes off in the background.
Duck
anyway, yeah, there you go.
I like that. All right. Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you guys here. We've all seen the beard. We've all heard about his off-season regimen. We all know he's coming off major elbow surgery. We're all aware he's 38 years old. We're all aware that he's immobile in the pocket. These are red flags, and they're for good concern. He's not what he used to be. They still have a very good offense in Deontay Johnson. You still got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got James Conner. We get all that. But honestly, who I have number 10, it may surprise you guys. It may make you mad, but I have Matthew Stafford as number 10. He continues to fly under the radar, and he was actually on pace last year to throw for about 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions before his season ended in 8 games. And when he got injured, he was ranked 2nd in touchdowns and 5th in passer rating. So once he was freed from the constraints of Jim Bob Cooter's system, which focused on really short passes, when he got into the system of Darryl Bevell's system, he was actually able to use his arm to his advantage and throw 2 guys in Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. So I feel like he'll be number 10, even though the Lions are not very good. I feel like Stafford deserves to be on the list.
I'm going to agree with you there. I think that I have 2 guys tied for 10 because I can't decide between both of them.
All right, well, go ahead and tell them.
Stafford and Wentz.
Okay.
And I think that the thing here is I'm concerned for both of them in terms of their injuries. Been both Stafford and Wentz. I'm not sure how well Stafford's going to be able to return from that back issue that he had. Mm-hmm. And Wentz is just all over the place. But I think that there's just a lot of issues with Stafford, mainly because he has nobody. Yeah, he got Golladay, but they don't really have anybody else, do they? I don't think so. Detroit right now is just in a really bad situation. And part of those numbers from last year for Stafford, I attribute to the fact that their defense couldn't keep themselves in the field for 2 minutes. And because they kept getting scored on. But Stafford played well last season. Hopefully he plays well again, but we're going to see if he's on the ups or he's on the downs. If he plays like he did last year, he's a top 10 quarterback. If he doesn't, then he's definitely not.
Ethan, who's your number 10?
Oh, God. I feel like somebody because obviously I think Matthew Stafford, we should, talk a little bit higher up because I think he deserves to be higher up. If we're going to be using the CBS rankings that they had and reordering them, I'd put Carson Wentz at 10 because the man can't stay healthy, and he's about to be replaced by a guy named Jalen Hurts with Hurts in his last name because obviously Wentz is always getting too hurt. So I think, well, to keep it short, Wentz hasn't been able to finish an entire season once in his entire career, and until he survives the entire 16 games, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. No matter how good he plays, he's not able to finish the season, and he's not really worth it. So put him at 10.
Got it. All right. So number 9, CBS gave number 9 to Tom Brady. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. This one I really don't have to argue much with. I think that Brady is – I'm the only one probably here who has Brady higher than what they put him at. They're at 9 on their list. He's higher for me. I think that the main issue for Brady last year, we talked about it with Big Ben, just getting old, getting a little stiff, very immobile, very just, I don't know, he's slow. There you go. That's the good word to put it. He was slow in the combine like 20 years ago. The big issue with Brady, it's the same issue with Big Ben, it's the same issue with a lot of these guys, is we're in an era now where you have to be fluid with the ball. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to work your way out of the pocket. And Brady just doesn't do that as well. But in terms of pure arm strength and accuracy, he's one of the best quarterbacks still in the league. I don't care that how old is he now? He's probably like 43. 43. He's got better receivers than he's ever had, and I think that attributes a lot to him being in the top 10 of this list. He's a lot higher, though, I think. He is still a legitimate force. He is the best immobile quarterback in the NFL.
Ethan.
So for me, I kind of like where Brady is in that 9 spot. I mean, he's old. His stats have obviously been going down. I could understand because he had horrible receivers and now he has an upgrade. But for me, he's stepping into a new system. You don't know what's going to happen with him. If everything's really going to work out, it's kind of like with every dream team, you never know what's really going to happen. We also with the Browns. I mean, if I'm comparing the Browns to still Brady and the Buccaneers, but the Browns were an overhyped team. They did not do so shabby. They didn't even get to have a winning season. Well, I think that the Buccaneers will have a better season than that. I believe that Brady is still – he's a definitely top 10 quarterback, but a 9 or 8 spot just because of his age and how athletic he is or he wasn't as athletic as he used to be, and his passes have been not as accurate compared to what Matt said. I'm pretty sure his accuracy has gone down, and that is concerning. But I think that a 9 or an 8 spot is good for him.
I'm fine with that too.
I disagree. I have Brady higher up. For number 9, I have Mr. Dak Prescott in Dallas, Texas. The reason I say that is because he does deserve his money. But the problem with Dak Prescott, along with the rest of the Cowboys, they cannot win. They are allergic to prosperity. We know Dak Prescott, what he's capable of. He's completed about 66% of his passes in the last 4 years and averaged about, I would say, almost 4,000 passing yards a season. And since 2016, he's ranked 6th in passing yards, and he's tied for 9th in touchdown passes. And he's actually tied for Russell Wilson for 2nd in quarterback wins. We get all that. But the problem is the only thing I have an issue with Dak Prescott is he cannot seem to win against above 500 teams. That's my issue, and that's why he's at number 9. Easily he can climb up his way up that list. I give Dak Prescott the credit he deserves. And, yeah, you got Amari Cooper. You got Michael Gallup. You got Blake Jarwin, and now you got an addition in CeeDee Lamb. So in order to get his way up on that list for me, he needs to prove he can win above 500 teams.
I'm okay with that. I have him a little higher than you do. This is where everybody starts screaming at me. I have a guy that you guys are not going to agree with the number 9. I have Matt Ryan this high. And my big problem is I think, again, Matt Ryan, I still see as one of the best arm talents in the league. I do. And I think Atlanta just really has something for him. Every year, it always seems like Matt Ryan still has that extra thing left in him. Last year, their defense was terrible. Their team just didn't work well until the end of the season. But if they can start making some moves early, I still see Matt Ryan as a top 10 quarterback. I do. I know you two. You were thinking I was going to put Josh Allen here. No, I'm not doing that.
I actually did.
We're going to clear the air. Josh Allen is not on my top 10. He's still got a lot left to learn. He does. He's good. We got a lot left to learn, though. So he's not here. But Matt Ryan, 9, 10, 8, somewhere around there.
And Ethan, for you?
So are we moving to number 8?
So yeah.
No,
so
you got who's your number 9?
Yeah,
Who's my number 9? I'd say if I put Carson Wentz at 10, I don't even know who should I put down there. I mean, I think
somebody
he deserves to be 10 times higher. I've already had stats from him, but I'll keep that for when I want to talk about him when we go higher. I think Matt, or who should I put? Like I said, I already said I want to keep Brady here at 9. I think 9's a good spot for him.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to number 8. CBS has Carson Wentz as number 8. Matt, your thoughts?
Already talked about Carson Wentz. I have him lower. I have him tied for 10th around that spot. I really don't have to say much else here. I think Wentz just needs to stay healthy in order for him to be considered this high.
Yep, I had him at 10. Nothing else to really say. I mean, Philadelphia, if they're going to have a successful season this year and try and keep up with the Cowboys, they need Wentz to play. And if he stays healthy, like he said, he deserves to be the top 10. But at the moment and how he's played, he does not deserve to be top, or at least above top 10. I think he deserves to be at 10. And that's it.
Honestly, I disagree with you guys. I understand that Carson Wentz finds ways to get injured every single year, but we are forgetting what he was playing with last year, and he won the division. He won the division, and the thing is, at one point,
you could win the division as quarterback, Luca. The division was so bad.
Yes.
Okay, listen.
I don't give Wentz any credit for last season. I'm sorry, I don't give him any.
Okay, so who gets the credit then for winning?
No one. That division was terrible. 9-7 winning a division, defense. And it wasn't even close. Exactly. I would give the defense credit for that. I don't give their offense any credit. They struggle.
Okay. Okay, the reason I give Carson Wentz the credit is because he had to play with people such as Greg Ward, Mark Hollins, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott. I don't hear Nelson Aguilar, Deshaun Jackson, or Elshon Jeffrey coming out of my mouth in that sentence. So the thing is,
I'm attributing my top 10 to receiver.
Huh?
I am attributing my top 10 to what kind of talent they have in receivers as well. That is another big thing. And I'm sorry that I didn't mention that sooner. Okay. If you have good receivers, you're going to be higher on my list because you can be more consistent and you have a better chance at having big success. Okay. And so with the receiving core that the Eagles have, I do not have Wentz very high.
Yes. Okay, so even going into this season with a healthy Elshon Jeffrey, a healthy Deshaun Jackson, a healthy Nelson Aguilar, you still don't have him above 10?
No, because Alshon Jeffrey can never stay healthy. Deshaun Jackson may be disciplined by the team still after what he did with the Twitter posts, and Nelson Aguilar literally has butterfingers every 5 seconds.
Well, I sadly can't disagree with that. But the defense, they got Darius Slay now, so they should be better. But like you said, I mean, I cannot tie that to a quarterback because Carson Wentz does not play defense. So, I mean, he is up there. I mean, I can see why you have him at 10 because he does get hurt. He does deserve credit like Dak Prescott does. And I forgot to mention this fact, Dak Prescott, whatever his contract is, he does not deserve more money than Carson Wentz. I hope everyone finds that clear. But
I don't, but okay.
Okay. All right, Ethan, do you have anyone at number 8? What are your thoughts?
If I were going to put somebody at number 8 at the moment, I think that Matt Ryan deserves to be here. Because I said 8 or 9, I think 8's just a little bit higher and where he deserves to be. I mean, Matt Ryan's his stats have been unbelievable. He's had 4,000 yards like a season since 2011. He's had that, like he's been passing unbelievably. He's got talents like Julio Jones on his team. His passing touchdowns have been in the 20s and 30s the last since 2011. Even before that, the man has been super, super consistent. People don't give him enough credit. Matty Ice has been stuck on a tragic team for at least the last few years. After their Super Bowl struggle that they had, but basically since then, I think they're going to have an up year after their down year they had last year. I think they're going to improve, and it's going to be because Matt Ryan's going to stay consistent, and that team's going to be a little bit better, and that's why I think Matt Ryan deserves to be a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, before we move on to number 7 here, I simply don't have him in my top 10, and honestly, I'm not going to lie, I totally forgot about him. He does fly under the radar, and I feel bad that he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Ever since being up at the Super Bowl 28-3 against New England Patriots, he has lost basically all the credit he deserves. I mean, listen, he's a very good quarterback. He is not mobile, but he knows how to fling the football and find targets such as Julio Jones. Austin Hooper's not there any longer, but I'm sure he'll find more targets within that system of his. So.
He just gets the job done.
He gets the job done. That's perfect. All right, CBS at number 7, they had Matthew Stafford. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Well, I already told you I had Stafford lower. By the way, I don't think I said who I had at number 8. At number 8, I have Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Aaron Rodgers, everything I said applies to Matt Ryan, so we'll leave it at that. But at number 7 with Stafford, I have him lower. Again, I think he's way too high on this list, especially for a guy who's coming off a pretty bad back injury and a guy who with horrific talent all around on the team. I don't see Stafford higher than 10, 11, honestly.
I think Matthew Stafford deserves to be at that spot. I kind of like where he is at number 7. I mean, the man deserves all the credit that he basically gets. I mean, for me, I think Stafford is basically needs to be freed from Detroit. Free Matthew Stafford. That's my new thing I'm trying to get, because Matthew deserves to be saved from that horrible Detroit organization, and he deserves a lot better. Let's just say that, because he has played very, very well. He's consistent. His stats have always been amazing, despite the team being absolute garbage. I know he didn't play. I think he didn't, or he had his back injury last few weeks of the season, which kind of like downs his basically top 10 quarterback rankings. But I think 7 is good enough for him, just above Matt Ryan. So I think Matthew Stafford, right where he is, I think is the best spot for him, and that's why I think 7 is best for him.
Okay. I obviously had Matthew Stafford at 10, like I said, and it's simply because I know what he's capable of. He's just coming off a back injury, and if he can continue where he left off last season, I definitely see the Lions having a very good offense. The defense is going to be a disaster, so that's why I have them not going higher than maybe 5 and 11. I don't know, something along those lines.
Don't give him that much credit.
Oh, sorry. But number 7, I have Mr. Old Tom Brady, who's going to be 43 when the season kicks off. Yes, he did decline last year because of not number 1, age, but number 2, the weapons that were available to him. You had rookies in N'Keal Harry, Matt Lacoste, Jacoby Myers, etc. He actually threw 4,057 yards last year, 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. That's not bad considering what was available to him. But now that he's in Tampa Bay to work with Bruce Arians, to work along with the offensive coordinator and Brian Leftwich, to have guys to throw such as Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, and Cameron Brate. Arguably, I would think that is probably the deepest and best receiving group of Brady's entire career. So I think it's going to be a bounce-back season for Brady.
I have Brady at 7 as well, which is actually kind of crazy how we have him in the same spot.
I know, it is a little crazy.
But honestly, Brady does deserve to be here. I talked about it a little while ago. He has the best receiving core in the NFL, and I want somebody to challenge me on that. I think that they have built a god tier offense for him. Whether their defense will be able to stand with them is a question. But I think their offense is tailored for success and tailored for Brady. That's why they got Gronk. Yeah. And so I think that this will be a big year for Brady, bounce back year, even though he's 43. Yeah. I have Brady at 7, and he's subject to go higher.
Ethan.
Obviously, I already told you Matt Stafford, I think, deserves to be number 7. I don't think I have much else to say. I think that's his best spot. I think that's pretty much a good spot for him in my rankings that I have. So I think that's where he deserves to be.
Cool. All right. CBS had at number 6, Deshaun Watson. Matt, your thoughts?
I think he's actually slightly underrated here. Deshaun Watson does not have good receivers without Hopkins, truly. But if we saw what this guy was able to do, he got a toe in the face. The way he played and come back against the Bills in the playoffs last year, Deshaun Watson is a force. I don't think that there's any denying that. Madden might want to deny that if you saw his rating on it. But I think Watson deserves a ton of more credit than he is getting. And I think part of it is because of his head coach and his general manager in Bill O'Brien. But I think that if they gave him better receivers, he'd be getting more credit.
Mm-hmm. Deshaun Watson, I think is a very great quarterback. Obviously, with the toe to the face, that really defines him because he has extreme grit. He will never try and lose the game. He'll put all his effort into it. He'll never give up, kind of like Jay Cutler. But I think that Deshaun Watson, I think for him, this is another great spot for him. I kind of like it because as a Houston team. You can't really put him any higher than 6 because he's on that Houston team. It's just kind of a mess right now, thanks to Bill O'Brien. But I think that Deshaun Watson will still play very well because he does not like to lose, and he'll keep his stats going. And I think 6 is a good spot.
Yeah, I agree with you here as well, Ethan. Simply because not only has he lost his best playmaker in DeAndre Hopkins, but the people I have above him is another reason for that. It just doesn't help that Deshaun Watson is saddled with Bill O'Brien as his general manager, who decided to trade his favorite and most reliable target in DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona for an overpaid and unproductive running back in David Johnson. I hope he can prove me wrong, but we'll see. But if there's anything that Deshaun Watson has continually proven to us since entering the NFL in 2017 is that he's capable of overcoming less than ideal situations. Last year when he was down with the Bills, down against the Buffalo Bills, last minute, he pulls out magic on himself and he wins the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans somehow have some success this year, even though they got Randall Cobb, Braden Cooks, Will Fuller, and those guys. But it is going to be tough to come back from such a devastating loss in DeAndre Hopkins, but I'm sure he'll find a way to get this done.
Houston is giving me Oklahoma City vibes from the NBA. Everybody thought they were going to be so bad, but part of me feels like they're going to be good. I don't know why. I don't really have an explanation as to why, but something just tells me that Deshaun Watson pulls something out of his backside. But at 6, I have Dak. I know you had him a lot lower, but I think that Dak is deserving of the money he's asking for. He's worth more than Wentz. I don't care what you say. I think that his ability to move, his ability to scramble, his ability to find the right guy at the right time is something special for a quarterback that you can't teach. And so I have Prescott at 6.
As much as you want to say the Cowboys suck, which in fact they do, but I think that Dak, obviously, since we're talking about 6, I mean, Deshaun Watson, I think still deserves to be 6. I'll talk a little bit more as we go higher up in the rankings about Dak Prescott, but for now, I think Watson is a great place for him. Houston is going to suck, but I think that Watson will have another great year.
All right.